Allow the children to the budget. It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay. She off your mind.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mind. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Ingo torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we loud, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego politico, yeah, yeah. My ego don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. This one not the off in mind, oh, yeah, yeah. My ego don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. And in the touchlight every corner, oh, yeah, yeah. My ego don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Sure. Every day, dollar, just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say, make we off mind. But thank God say, my ego don't come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Politico, oh, yeah, yeah. My ego don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. This one not the off in mind, oh, yeah, yeah. My ego don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my ego, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my ego diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say, make we not talk. But thank God say, my ego don't come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Mayegun diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá. Mayegun diary politico. Mayegun diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary láyé bí nọ́mbà wá. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn rájú. Bíjó ìgbádìyẹ, àní ẹ̀sùn rájú. Bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o, àní ẹ̀sùn rájú. Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ, àní ẹ̀sùn rájú. Ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá, àní ẹ̀sùn rájú.
Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin òwò Máyégún máa wí, àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì Máyégún ti dé. Hello there. Good morning to you, brethren. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. This is Máyégún live. Thank you so much for joining me. Brethren, in the Temple of Truth tonight, we are having the continuation of the drama playing out in the Nigeria Senate between the 107 senators and Akpabiole versus Natasha Akpoti Odwan. So, read the caption of this broadcast. Read the description of this broadcast. And if you have done that already, great. Then like the broadcast. Share it. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends. And tell them that Máyégún is live. Equivalent of Máyégún today. So, brethren, once again, welcome to the Temple of Truth, and welcome to the latest from the the spectacle being displayed by by career criminals, because I don't know, that's what I love to call them though, career criminals who are lawbreakers that are expected to be also lawmakers, making laws for you. So if you have been following this back and forth, breakbacks between the Senate President, the kleptomaniac Akpabiole. Akpabiole is accused of sexually harassing his own colleague in the Senate, abuse of power, obstruction of legislative duty of another member. In all of this, it has now come to the light that Natasha was alone. She is alone. And even though she is from the political party that was supposed to have the second kind of majority in their assembly there, I'm talking about people destroying people, PDP. But in this wahala, it's not just Natasha versus the APC goons. It is Natasha versus the House of Wolves, the House of Jackals, and she has been sacrificed this afternoon via a suspension delivered by Akpabiole. There is no room to investigate her allegation. They did not even give any room whatsoever to probe into our petition, our allegation, right? Check if she was even lying, right? To know, okay, she's lying, then punish her accordingly. This time it was like, how dare you? That is the word. How dare you? And that is where we are going to start this evening. So, this morning, when Natasha Akpoti Odwan returned to the Nigerian Senate, where the sharks, the hyenas, the jackals were waiting to deliver the punching, the tequila punch. So she walked in again to represent a petition that was said to not be properly presented yesterday. And that is the petition against Akpabiole, the sexual harassment, obstruction of legislative duty, as well as abuse of power. Ladies and gentlemen, because of our time, because I really do wish that we take us this evening, okay? So let's get down to it. Straight up. So Natasha walked in this morning, faced Akpabiole again, and presented this.
Senate President, I have before me a petition by a Nigerian citizen and a constituent of Kogi Central under the name Suberu Azamare Yakubu. And the petition is against the President of the Nigerian Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, for sexual harassment, abuses of office, and malicious obstruction of legislative functions of distinguished Senator Natasha Akpoti. So with your kind permission, may I please lay this petition? Because as you know, yesterday...
Is there any legal impediment?
On the subject matter, none, sir. None, sir.
Yeah, please proceed to lay the petition. Since you said there is no legal impediment.
There is none, sir. Thank you.
Don't worry, somebody...
Order, Chief, thank you.
Don't give this person any PR. Don't.
Distinguished colleagues, Senator Natasha Akpoti has a petition from her constituents, and she has also further confirmed before all senators that the matter in issue is not in any court of law. I have no reason not to take her word for it. So accordingly, the petition is referred to the Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions to revert to the Senate in 4 weeks.
Report back. He said the petition, because yesterday, right, said Natasha presented a petition against Akpabiole in her name, and that is wrong. So she came back with a new one, same petition, but in the name of one of her constituents. Now, Akpabiole, this is the beginning of the drama. So Akpabiole said, as is expected, refer this petition to the Committee on Ethics and whatever. The entire compromised system, they had their foregone conclusion already. So the weighty allegations and the petition of Natasha did not receive any of the attention of the supposed committee of the committee or Senate Committee on Ethics. All right, because to them, he has sort of like, outdone herself, and she must be punished. So those who are supposed to be feminists, all those feminists that always claim that they are fighting for women, they became blind, deaf, and dumb for obvious reasons, right? But let's leave feminists. The remaining women in their their senates, they were on the side of the men. They even condemned her for daring to make such allegations public. So Ireti Kingibe she's a member of the Senate Committee on Ethics. There is another clown, that guy that I shared with us, yesterday. And then another one again, called Neda something. Let me see if I can pick out his name from my list here. Give me a sec. So that one is the chairman, Senate Committee on Ethics, the person that was supposed to receive Natasha's petition, treat it, I mean, you know, in its merits, and decide if a crime has been committed. Get back to the Senate, Abi. So initially, people were like, why would Akpabiole still be superintending the Senate when there is a petition against him? Why would he be like a judge in his own case? Anyway, so there is this, I'm trying to pick his name, not done something. Right? So he walked into the Senate this morning, the Senate chambers, as they call it, with a prepared long speech, which is to recommend the immediate suspension of Natasha, something they've been kind of like, you know, pushing in the last few days anyway. So it's expected, isn't it? Now, I am going to kind of share that with you, their recommendation and on what basis. Let's start with this.
On Wednesday, 19th February 2025, after adjourning of the Senate session, he was informed by the Chief Whip of the Senate, Senator Mohammed Tahir Mongono, that the leadership have directed him to effect some adjustments of seats on the minority side due to movement of two senators, namely Senator Onyebuchi FE and Senator Ned Nwoko Muner to the majority party. 2, that the Chief Whip reminded him to effect the adjustments in line with the ranking as it has been the tradition of the Senate. 3, that the readjustment affected about 10 senators, Senator Natasha Akpoti inclusive, and the reallocation was approved by the Chief Whip, and some chamber staff were instructed to guide the affected senators to their new seats the following sitting day. 4, that all the senators were guided to their new seats, and they complied. But Senator Natasha was shown to her new seat, but she refused and insisted that she would not go anywhere, and removed the name tag on her old seat and sat down and shouting and all efforts by other senators to calm her proved abortive. 5, that Senator Natasha Akpoti was advised by Chief Whip to go to her new seat to enable her speak on the point of order, but she insisted on raising the point of order on her old seat. But was equally advised by the President of the Senate to move to her new seat to be recognized to speak, but she refused and was consequently ruled out of order. That she started shouting in the chamber, which was unparliamentary. All entreaties by some distinguished senators to make her remain calm fell on deaf ears, and she left the chamber on her own when the session was still in progress. The testimonies of Mukhtar Usman Dauda was corroborated by Sandra Davo, Mekawua Abari Kashi, Mercy Rashid Salmanu, and Udeme Igbidejo. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, another testimony was taken from Brigadier General Etido Ekpo, who is the Senate Sergeant at Arms. In his written submission, Mr. President, to the committee, Brigadier General Etido Ekpo testified as follows. 1, that Senator Natasha Akpoti, after being sworn in as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, began to display unbridled and uncourt behavior amongst her distinguished colleagues, thereby creating constant conflict and disharmony. That from his investigation, Senator Natasha Akpoti had openly engaged in verbal altercation with Senator Godiya Akwashiki and Senator Patrick Undubeze, in which the President of the Senate and the entire leadership intervened in the interest of peace and harmony. And 3, that by her unethical conduct and verbal attacks, Senator Natasha Akpoti has succeeded in creating frosty and unfriendly relationship with a number of her colleagues, both in the chamber, committees / meeting rooms, as well as the precincts of the National Assembly. The respondent, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Senator Natasha Akpoti, despite notice to appear, neglected, refused, and opted not to show up at the committee hearing. The observations and findings of the Committee of Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petition. After careful examination, the documents available and hearing out the matter, the committee observed as follows. 1, that Senator Natasha Akpoti has violated Order 6, subsection 1 and 2 of the Senate Standing Orders 2023 as amended by vehemently refusing to relocate to her newly assigned allocated seat in the Senate chamber and insisting to raise the point of order from a seat not allocated to her, thereby causing commotion and disruption in the Senate proceedings, violating Order 62, subsection 2 of the Senate Standing Orders by refusing to leave the chamber when ordered to do so by the presiding officer. 2, that her behavior on the 20th of February 2025 was unethical and unbecoming of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria by refusing to uphold the moral sanctity of the Senate and of the hallowed chamber. 3, that her refusal to appear that her allegations.
I have to cut that into half there so that we can manage our time, all right? Don't pretend that you don't know that this whole cock and bull story, okay, is to make it look like she's such a troublesome person. She's on call. She's, she's not relatable. And because of this, she has caused frosty, relationship among these senators. If you have been a follower of Nigeria criminal politics, I'll tell you, there have been a member of this Senate who have been punished for not acting like the court as it should be, right? So you may be PDP, you may be APC, you may be APGA, you may be YPP, you may be NNPP, you may be Labour Party. Doesn't really matter. The moment you get into that chamber, you are considered as the same. So whatever is agreed upon, not agreed upon, whatever is directed, everyone is expected to toe the line. If you dare question it, you will see member of your own political party. Let's say you are in opposition, for example. As it should be, as democracy is really practiced, okay, where you have the ruling party, right, and then you have the opposition. The job of the opposition is to act as the checks and balances and possibly, right, expose all the corrupt criminal activities of the ruling party. To their own advantage, of course, you say them out, you are inside the place, you know what they are doing, so you can actually hold them, but not in Nigeria. In Nigeria, they are the same. They say they are the same brothers and sisters. The transistor radio senator, or former senator, the man who was sharing transistor radio, Shehu Sonny, Afro senator, he was almost suspended because he went on TV to tell the world how much each senator collects and how much he told the world how much he as the senator was collecting. And then he gave an idea of how much the ranking officers of the Senate are collecting. That was the genesis of how we got to know that an average senator was going on with a 35 million naira. And this was in 2015, by the way. 35 million naira every month. He was almost suspended. Yeah, Saraki was the Senate president at the time. According to him, he shielded him from being suspended for 6 months. Ali Ndume from Borno, right, got suspended. If you remember, he was also suspended for about 6 months as well, simply because he questioned the padding of the budget by the lawmakers. He was supposed to just play along, not talk about it. Abdul Ningi, another person was also exposed the corruption of a budget padding, was also suspended for about 3 months. I don't know if you remember that. That's the recent one. There's another guy called Abdul Mumini Jibrin from Kano. He is he's a House of Representative member. He was suspended for 6 months. Why? Because he exposed the budget padding in the National Assembly, called press conference. They fired him. So you can't act opposition in that place. So that's why I'm not surprised. The guy that is, reading that nonsense is a Labour Party member, by the way, a Labour Party senator. Just for your information. Ireti Kingibe, that recommended that Natasha should be suspended because she's gone far out of her way. She's also a Labour Party member. Natasha herself, a PDP member, has in that same Senate house, right? She had, plus herself, they have 35 PDP senators. Not a single one of them raise a wimp. Not make the wimp as no. It was just like, and then the proposal for our suspension was made. In this this longer clip, which I'm going to play you next, that is where prayers for a 6-month suspension. Even the rubber stamp one actually wanted rubber stamp one wanted salary stopped, a security detail removed, workers and their salaries stopped as well. In this show of shame, let me show you.
The Senate do suspend Senator Natasha Akpoti for 6 months for a total violation of the Senate Standing Rules 2023.
Hang on, don't forget that a moment ago, Akpabiole was referring Natasha's petition to the Senate Committee on Ethics that they should report back. But no, they are not going into any ethics. They already said it that it is dead on arrival. You see, a few days ago when this altercation happened, there were already those within the chamber there asking that she should be suspended. Suspend her, Joe, suspend her. But here is the process.
The Senate do suspend Senator Natasha.
I think this is one we should go for. The rest of what Damufu was reading.
2. That under Order 40, subsection 7 of the Senate Standing Orders 2023 as amended, which states that Senate should not receive or deliberate on any matter to which actions are pending in any court of law, the petition of Senator Natasha Akpoti being a matter before a law court of competent jurisdiction, the committee therefore cannot deliberate on the petition. 3. The committee noted that distinguished Senator Natasha Akpoti went to court to seek an interim order preventing the Senate and its committee from exercising these constitutional duties as enshrined in Section 88, subsection 1 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended. The committee felt duty-bound to exercise its constitutional functions. It is noted that legislative investigation is part of lawmaking. It is adjunct of the legislative process. Accordingly, any investigation carried in the exercise of those powers are constitutional and competent. 4, it is interesting to note that while on one hand, Senator Natasha Akpoti sought in breach to restrain the Senate from doing its constitutional duties under Section 88, subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, she also brought a petition to the Senate, arguing that her petition on sexual harassment has merit, which must be accepted and acted upon by the Senate. Accordingly, the petition was referred to the Senate Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petition for action. The distinguished senator cannot, on one hand, seek to prevent the Senate from doing its duties on a petition based on a motion brought against her, and on the other hand, insist that her petition on sexual harassment to the Senate be acted upon through the Ethics Committee. He who comes to equity, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, must come with clean hands. It is important to note that the motion of Senator Adaramodu seeking investigation on the conduct of Senator Natasha Akpoti was referred to the Senate Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions when there was no case pending in court on the issue of seat allocation. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petition, having due deliberation of the matter as revealed by Senator Adeyemi Raphael Adaramodu, Senator Titus Tatenja Zam, Chamber staff, and the Sergeant at Arms, the committee recommends as follows. 1, that the Senate do suspend Senator Natasha Akpoti for 6 months for her total violation of the Senate Standing Rules 2023 as amended for bringing the presiding officer and the entire Senate in general to public opprobrium. 2, that for the Senate to consider lifting the suspension or to reduce the tenure of suspension, Senator Natasha Akpoti shall submit a written apology to the Senate before the reconsideration by the Senate. 3, that the Senate do suspend Senator Natasha Akpoti with effect from 6 March 2025 from all legislative activities forthwith. 4, that her office be locked up for the duration of her suspension and hand over all Senate properties in her possession to the clerk of the National Assembly. 5, that for the duration of her suspension, she cannot come or be seen within the vicinity of the National Assembly, including her staff. 6, that her salaries and allowances, including those of her legislative aides, be suspended and withdraw of all security details for the duration of her suspension. And 7, that for the period of her suspension, she be barred from representing herself to the public, locally and internationally, as a Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Yeah. So those are the prayers. Don't pay her salary, suspend her for 6 months, lock her office. Our workers should not be paid, our staff should not be paid for that 6 months, and also bar her from presenting herself as a senator of the Fulani Republic of Nigeria. Read away. Sounded like an overkill, right? That is exact intention. Now, watch this. This is when the suspension, right, was handed down by Akpabiole.
The Senate do suspend Senator Natasha Akpoti for 6 months for a total violation of the Senate Standing Rules 2023 as amended for bringing the presiding officer and the entire Nigerian Senate in general to a public opprobrium. Those in support of prayer will say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. I'd put the question. Those in support of prayer will say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. How do you amend a prayer that is unanimous? Prayer 2, that Akpoti Odoagan shall submit a written apology to the Senate before any reconsideration of this case by the Senate. Those in support of prayer 2 say aye. Those against say nay. Nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 3.
Liberalism.
Prayer 3. That the Senate do suspend Senator Akpoti Odoagan with effect from 6th day of March 2025 from all legislative activities forward. Those in support of prayer 3 say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 4. That her office be locked up for the duration of this suspension, and she should hand over all Senate properties in her possession to the clerk of the National Assembly. Those in support of prayer 4 say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 5. That for the duration of her suspension, she cannot come or be seen within the vicinity of the National Assembly, including her staff. But this is normal. Those in support of prayer 5 say aye. Those against say nay. Again, the ayes have it. Prayer 6. That our salaries and allowances, including those of our legislative aides, be suspended, and withdrawal of all security details for the duration of our suspension. Yes, Senator Oju Sakalo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a little amendment. Her aides have families. Most of them have come from villages, from towns to live in Abuja. It will be wrong to punish aides that have not committed any offense. Their aides will receive their allowances. No, don't do so. You have to agree with this. The aides of Natasha is not Natasha. It will be wrong for this Senate to deprive those aides not collecting their allowances. They are workers. They don't have any other farm to go to, Mr. President. Because these aides are workers of Senator Natasha. So I'm moving for amendment of that section that the aides will receive their allowances. Mr. President, I plead with you that these people might be having family in Abuja. They don't go to any farm. They don't have any other way of feeding. And I think that this Senate, my colleagues, you must allow the workers of Natasha to have their allowances. I so move, Mr. President.
Any seconder? Yes, any seconder? The two Senator Nedwoko, you have not spoken. Any seconder? Yes, any seconder? The two Senator Nedwoko, you have not spoken. Nedwoko has not spoken. Senator Nedwoko.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my
Senator
distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Ned Nwoko. I represent the good people of Delta North, Delta State. Mr. President, I do stand to second the amendment as proposed by Senator Oji Ozokalo. It's only fair that we allow the workers, even if they don't come to within the premises of the National Assembly, to receive their allowances. I so support. Thank you.
Well, distinguished colleagues, the Prayer 6 says that our salaries and allowances, including those of our legislative aides, be suspended. And the distinguished Senator Oju Sakalo has proposed that the salaries and allowances of the aides be spared. Even if they don't, and like he said, he further amended it to say, even if they are not allowed to come within the vicinity of the National Assembly, because they are here only at our instance, but that their salaries should be spared. Those who are in support of the amendment that the salaries of the aides be spared, say aye. And those who feel that their salaries should also be withheld by the clerk of National Assembly, say nay. The ayes have it. What, just that's a matter. Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, my name is Ahmed Lawan, I represent Kingibe North. Mr. President, the latter part of number 6 talks of withdrawal of all security details for the duration of her suspension. Mr. President, I want to believe that we still feel we are one. And any injury to any of us should be injury to all. I believe withdrawal of security aids at this moment from a senator is not the best way to go. And we should not really create a precedence where the moment something happens with a member of the National Assembly, the security agencies will say withdraw the security aids, because this could be a problem to us later. So I just want us to reflect on this. Thank you.
Well, if your security is given to you as a leverage to your being a senator, then there will be no need for them to hang around with you when you are no longer a senator. In other words, if you are no longer a president of the Senate, you cannot continue to sit in the car of the president of the Senate. I was with you in the villa the day you declared support for me, and I saw you off as a sign of respect as the outgoing Senate president. When we got to the vehicle, you just pointed out and said, "This will be withdrawn from me tomorrow. I will come to your house after you win." so if you are telling me that, assuming I had failed that day, would that vehicle come to my house?
Well, Mr. Senate President, I don't want it to be like I'm trying to make a case, but I believe that this is a suspended senator, not someone who ceases to be a senator. It's suspension.
But without arguing with
that's
you,
my case. Yes.
Without arguing with you, let me remind you, you are a landlord in the Senate or in the National Assembly. Do you remember a senator that was called Oton Zeribe? A distinguished senator who was one of the richest people in southeastern Nigeria. And when he entered into the Senate, he carried along on his shoulders his wealth. May his soul rest in peace. When he was suspended, the Senate took steps to withdraw all his security. And when he refused to apologize to the Senate, he stayed out of the Senate for over 2.5 years until the end of that tenure. We are starting a journey now. And the journey depends on your attitude. Prayer 7, that for the period of her suspension, she be barred from representing herself to the public locally and internationally as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Those in support of prayer 7 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Let me thank my colleague.
Yesterday, when Natasha was on his case, Akpabiole could be seen, right? Jittery, probably scared, like a fish out of water. Go and watch the video if you probably have forgotten. It was not himself. Now he's joking again. He's actually joking, talking about author Zeribe and talking about borrowing rubber stamp Lawan, his own Senate presidiot car for a day, out of respect. He's joking now. The plan is that Natasha will not come back. Just for the record, that's the plan. She must not come back. So the extension of her suspension is also part of this whole plot. You know? But where is the opposition? Where are the opposition members? Where are they? Not a single one of them actually really rose up to say, oh, you know what? Nah. It was like, we are one. We are one. Injury to one is injury to all. That is the deal. Oh, two guys actually rose up from Kogi. Yeah. One of them pleaded that they should reduce suspension to 3 months with some after. This guy.
Mr. President, for this opportunity that you have given to me to make a few remarks about what is on the table before all of us. Distinguished colleagues, I know how senators have been feeling about the subject of discussion today. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I am sure that all of us are very well aware of the efforts that were made to avoid today. And so I want to say, on behalf of myself and my colleagues on this side of the aisle, that we feel very sad that this thing is coming from this side. I would have loved that it is coming from this side. Mr. President, I want to say without any fear of contradiction that it is very, very unfortunate that it has come this way. Like I said, all efforts were made to avoid what is happening today. We are members of the minority on this side, but we are also senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And we have our rules. And as chronologically put together here, there is no doubt that there has been a breach of our rules. And breaches of rules and laws definitely come with consequences. These are the consequences that have been put very clearly here, that ordinarily would have been avoided. Mr. President, we are not against the report. Mr. President, I want to remind all of us that we are all Nigerians. And as Nigerians, we have the tradition encapsulated in the sage that if you beat your child with the right hand, you draw that child with the left hand. We therefore say that this Senate is aware that even in our homes, we have very recalcitrant children. We don't drive these children away from the house. So we keep begging them to be of good behavior. Sometimes we beat them too. And so today we are faced with this situation that we all know impinges on the integrity of this institution, that is ordinarily the highest lawmaking institution in Nigeria. And so the expectation of many Nigerians is that we must demonstrate the highest level of integrity. And it starts with obeying our rules. Having said that, Mr. President, from this side of the aisle, we want to plead that while implementing these recommendations that will be approved by the Senate, or is most likely to be approved by the Senate, if it is convenient for the Senate and Mr. President, now that even the committee has given a window of possible mitigation of this sentence, we want to ask if it is convenient for the Senate and Mr. President that the 6 months punishment for suspension be reduced to 3 months. I say this with all with all sense of responsibility, but I think that with what has been canvassed here and the unanimity of senators on the gravity of these incidents, on the integrity of this institution, that 3 months is sufficient for some level of restitution. That 3 months will be enough for our sister and us here to reflect, to circumspect, and agree.
Yeah, that's Abamoro. It's not from Kogi, I think. Now, you see, you, my viewers, let me quickly remind you that the turn of events, as it is playing out right now, is to totally shield Akpabiole from any investigation based on the allegation brought forward by Natasha. So it is now, this is them using a sledgehammer to kill an ant, which they feel so bad that it has actually forced their supposed Senate president to go naked in public. So this ant, we have to kill it with sledgehammer. So they are punishing Natasha right now because she refused to leave the seat, her seat, for the one allocated by Akpabiole. Our own allegations, right, the petition against Akpabiole is not being touched at all. And it will never be touched. Do you get that? Like, they are not touching it and they won't touch it. So the way they are all reacting right now, they are reacting as if to say, yeah, Natasha, see what Natasha has done. Natasha has destroyed the name of this Nigeria Senate. This institution has suffered. Oh my God, she is not fit for purpose. She shouldn't even be allowed to come here back to this place. She doesn't play ball. She is, you know what I mean? Like, and then you begin to say, okay, what did she do? Go. That she insisted to speak on order 10. Order 10. Stand on this, their rule. And they said, no, she can't use any order at all because she can only speak from the seat allocated to her. And if she's not going to go to that seat, right, she won't be allowed to talk. Now, that is what they are reacting to now. Everything else, right, they are trying to spin it. Water it down. Sexual harassment. Preventing her from carrying out her legislative duty. Abuse of power, as she stated. None of this is being looked into. That's why they are now putting her on the pedestal. They are putting her at the, what do you call it? Putting her on display. So everybody can look at her and be like, look at her. Look at, what is wrong with this? What is wrong with this lady, sir? Man, the way this lady is talking, man, man, honestly, they should suspend her. Her career is finished. This lady shouldn't even be in politics. So that's exactly what they are doing right now. You see, the real thing that happened will remain buried. That's the purpose. In fact, one of them was even apologizing to Akpabiole. I'm so sorry that I came to you to lobby with you, that to lobby for her, that you should put her in any committee, blah, 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 blah. I'm so sorry that I put this. That's why Natasha is now saying that you sexually harassed her and all of that. This madman from Kogi, by the way, they are from the same place.
My colleagues, my name is Karimi Sunday Steve. I'm from Kogi State. Mr. President, I want to confess my sin today. Because this is holy month of Ramadan and at the same time of fasting. I'm one of those that put you in this problem. And I'm very sorry. When my sister came to the Senate, you were very reluctant, giving her a leadership position. I want to recall your word. You said she's a rookie. And there are people that came before her. Karimi, why will I give her chairmanship position? You said you wouldn't do that. That your conscience will not allow you to do that. I went to some leaders here to put pressure on you. Then finally, me and Senator Jubri came to you that position that Senator Ohere left is from Kogi State. And that you must give it back to Kogi State. I even went to old meeting with the husband to strategize on how she will be given that chairmanship of local content. And finally, you succumb. I'm very sorry, sir. When we gave seats here, the seat I allocated to her was where Senator Orwell is sitting. It caused problem here. Senator said she was the last person that came. Why would she sit in front of them? You had to lead the leaders here and corrected me.
Speaking to the microphone.
You led the leadership after sitting one day. That Karimi, what are you doing? You want to divide this place because you want to favor your sister? That is not right. You have to reallocate the seat. In fact, when you see reallocated the seat, I see Peter. Why? Just to, at least, make my sister comfortable here. Senate President, I want to recall what happened that day before the leadership came in. She was very unhappy. She shouted my name to the high heavens, abused me, abused my mother. For what? For simple change.
Abused your mother?
Sir?
Was your mother around?
Mr. President, it's very important you listen to me, my colleagues. Mr. President, my colleagues, I'm a Christian. And I know in the book of Matthew chapter 5, verse 9, the Bible says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God." Because of that, I did a private chat to her. I want to read it. Yes, for this purpose. Madam, why not take a part of peace? Apologize to the leadership and your colleagues and move on. One that seems your enemy today can still be your friend tomorrow. It is not even healthy to keep warning always. My sincere advice. I hope you are not offended. I also followed up. If at all you need my support in carrying out my suggestion, you can have my back. The Spirit of God is leading me to doing this. Please note that I have not discussed this with anyone. Do not interpret this to be anyone sending me to you. Your husband is our friend that we enjoy a valued relationship with, and I owe him a lot to have decided on this move. God guide you aright. He who fights and run away may live to fight another day. Those advising you to keep fighting, most of them doesn't know what it takes to win an election to the Senate. You know your labor, the pain, the struggle to get where you are. You need a good relationship with your colleagues to get the best for your people. A little here, a little there, bending to people's opinion. A good politician.
Nuisance lele.
So Mr. Karimi, who is playing the good boy to Akpabiole. Sir, I am sorry, sir. I apologize to you. Sir, I want to confess my sin, sir. Performative. Tell me about that. Oh, well, you want to talk about performative? Did not miss in action too. He also took the floor. To tell his own tale by moonlight on the matter. He said it's not about gender. It's not about party. Look at this. United. All of us here, we are united to get rid of her. So that nobody can say it is APC, we chanting her. No. She's not supposed to be here in the first place. We don't know why the people of Kogi West actually sent her here, but she shouldn't even be here. Is she from Kogi West or Kogi Central? Not sure. That's one part I kind of left out though, right? So, first part.
And listen.
Hang on. Can I ask you a question, viewers? Have you actually liked this broadcast, whether on Facebook or YouTube? Have you? No? Okay. Now, do it now, okay? Now, let's go back to Okwe. Year one.
I listened to distinguished Senator Natasha on Arise News. And I'm saying to all my distinguished colleagues, I had no regrets about what she said about me. She said I called her at exactly 13 minutes past 12. I had no regrets. And every one of you know it is characteristic of my own person and leadership role to try to reconcile everybody. I went to the Senate president and I got there that night. And I said, sir, tomorrow in chamber, you will have to tender a public apology to distinguished Senator Natasha. I beg you in the name of God. Because her understanding of what you said is different from the way you are interpreting it. By saying she should not speak as if she was in a nightclub. And Mr. President, you explained again that what you meant was it's only in the nightclub that everybody speaks in loud voice, trying to raise their voice above the volume of the music. And I said, sir, I understand you. But tomorrow you need to explain that again to her and other Nigerian women and apologize to her. And you asked me a question, why is it that you are always coming to me to talk? You have not have you called Senator Natasha? Everybody is dragging me on the social media, her bloggers, including herself, saying I must go down. Have you called her? And I picked my call and called Senator Natasha, placing her on speakerphone. DSP was there and two other of our colleagues. And I called. I didn't think 12 midnight was any time that we would not still be awake as senators. We go to bed 2 a.m., 3 a.m. People who are dragging us on social media should know that. And when I called distinguished Senator Natasha, the first thing I said was, distinguished, I am sorry. I hope I did not wake you up. She said, no, sir. I'm still busy. I'm still at work. You know, I can't be sleeping by this time. And I said, how is my brother? Referring to her husband. She said, he's fine and he's right here. And I said, I only called you to ask you a question. She said, what? I said, my dear sister, what would you gain? Because I'm reading everything that people are saying on social media. But what will you gain if the Senate president goes down? What do you stand to benefit? That was all the discussion. And as she was talking, she said, well, I didn't start this fight. As she was talking, my phone started saying reconnecting, meaning that network was failing. I cut it off and called back. As soon as she came back, Mr. President, you took over the discussion, believing that you were talking to a friend's wife who just said the husband was by her. And you said, Princess of the Senate, why are your people dragging me? And we discussed all of this. And at the end of the discussion, you spoke with the husband and reminded the husband or told the husband about a pending nomination that he was supposed to make for Delta State. And I thought that was the height of it, Mr. President. We were nominating people who will serve in the Public Complaints Commission. The husband is not the governor of Delta. He's not a senator from Delta. And I felt it was the height of respect that you could have for anybody, that you will ask the husband to submit the name of the nominee for Delta State for a 5-year tenure in public service. That was how we rounded up that discussion. But I listened to the single Senator Natasha on Arise. We rounded up that discussion. You came here the following day, you apologized, that rested the matter. But she recalled the matter last week on Arise and simply said, I called her at 13 minutes past 12, middle of the night, to threaten her. And I said, if SP must go down, you too must go down. I never said so. And I call on the DG, DSS, and all those, security agencies who have unrestricted access to telecommunication networks. So please recall the record of the discussion that I held with the single Senator Natasha on my phone. So
denying that he didn't threaten her. Now, to going further, he said, it's just about her. It's her. She has a problem. And that he, right, is happy that all of the senators are on the same page on this, including Ireti. How many of you remember the time when Wirewike was bullying Ireti Kingibe? And she was crying out almost at every forum. Yeah? Now she is one of the ringleaders of the people that had the Natasha removed from the Senate. So they actually boost the, whatever you can say, whatever you can call it, like, they boost this Ireti, Neda, Imasuen, what's that guy's name? All these guys from this opposition party that are the arrowhead of our removal or our suspension, they are just like, it's like a cat paws, right? You can use the cat paw to take a hot charcoal from fire. Here you get now, so without having to use your own hand. And the job is still very much well done. Listen to the movement.
While we struggle as a Senate and as a people to continue to influence laws that will ensure to create more space for our women in public institutions, those of our women who have found themselves in public institutions out of this time should learn, understand, and obey the rules and regulations of those institutions so that they also will be good ambassadors of the Nigerian women. Let me also say that beyond gender, this is not also about north or south. It's not about where you come from. As a matter of fact, all our senators from Kogi are fully opposed to what has happened. And that's why they are all in support of what we are doing. It's also not about political party. Let me also say that what we are doing cuts across different political parties. It's about a sense of indignation to a deliberate refusal to respect the rules and regulations of the Senate as an institution. Mr. President, people will be governor for 8 years as chief executive. They will be honorable minister. They will still go back to the nooks and crannies of their constituencies, go around every village to go and contest election to come to this Senate. It is because there is something about this Senate as an institution. It is also because it is a Senate of rules and regulations. So, this is not about one political party trying to witch hunt another. As a matter of fact, let me emphasize for the record, and for those bloggers who like to sit in judgment over what we do here, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petition is a bona fide member of the Nigerian Labour Party. He's not APC. The minority leader, who spoke very well as a minority leader, trying to also make a case, did not say he was opposed to this, because he was one of those who played a major role in trying to curtail this whole situation from degenerating in the first instance. All he had to just say was to make a plea of mitigation from 6 months to 3 months. But he's not opposed to what we are doing. He's of the People's Democratic Party and a ranking senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But he's guided by conscience and a sense of indignation to...
Still on the matter though, still on the matter. He also added this because of our time. Quickly.
This is also not about gender. I said it before. Most distinguished Senator Ireti Kingibe, God bless her, she's busy at the International Women's Day program with your permission, and we are going to join them there. She has different programs to attend today as the chairman of the Senate Committee on Women Affairs. Distinguished Senator Mrs. Ireti Kingibe signed this report as a member of the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petitions. Her name is number 21, and her signature is there, fully in support of these regulations. Senator Ireti Kingibe is not a member of APC. Senator Ireti Kingibe is not a man. She's a woman. And by the grace of God and the privilege extended by this Senate, she's the chairman of the Senate Committee on Women Affairs. So this is not about where you come from. It's not about your political party. It's not about your gender. It is about this institution that is called the Senate and the need for each and every one of us who is privileged to be here, because it's only a privilege. Nothing suggests that we are the best in our various constituencies. It is a privilege, and we are here by public trust of our constituents who voted for us. So, it is a collective desire of this institution called the Senate that we will restore law and order. And I also want to remind all of us and the public that all those who are served in the Senate or in the House of Representatives and who felt that their achievement should be measured by the number or the volume of content they created on the social media, who felt their achievement should be measured by the number of followers they had on social media, All those who felt grandstanding should be the order of the day. I'm sure you can begin to name them in both houses. Where are they today? Who is talking about them today? What is their relevance in the polity of this nation?
Nuisance lele.
So there's something about Akpabiole, as well as this Onimuru, they have a phobia for social media. It's like they probably spend a lot of time on social media looking at what people are saying about them. That they have, you know, this phobia. They can't see anything without mentioning bloggers, social media. Bloggers, social media. Because it seems that it is the only place where they hardly see any ass leaker or any, what do you call it? Any crumb chaser or crumb eater trying to help launder their image. It is a place where, you know, if you enter our scrutiny, right? So we have a chance of not, you know, of not trying to actually like shield you. So because of this, they feel like the social media is like, you know, it's like the war ground that they do not, they are so weak, as coward as they are, that if they have their way, they will want it possibly like, you know, eradicated. I'm talking about social media now. They don't talk without mentioning social media. It's a place where, you know, raw truth, unedited, unadulterated truth, because you can easily judge based on what you are seeing and what you are hearing. You understand? If it's about documents, say, look at this document. Is it genuine? It's genuine. And what does it say? Oh, it says this. You get what I mean? So you can easily judge. It is a place where lie comes to and die. You know, social media or the internet is a place where if you want to be ignorant, it's just going to be like intentional. You can choose to be ignorant because everything you need to know about what is going on in that contraption, where, when, by who, you have all of them right there at your fingertip. Just right there, flat. Now you can choose to be ignorant. I didn't know that too. Is that true? I mean, I didn't know that too, because you choose not to know. It's unfortunate too that, you know, in that same vein, you will get to see the Nigerians who, well, despite the availability of all this, you know, information, they will still rather pretend that they are as dumb as a doorbell and will be led by their noses. And there is no amount of facts, truth that you know, that you are going to flaunt before them that is ever going to make them say, oh my God, let's do something. Rather, they'll be like, are you sure? Oh, I don't believe it, Jared. Are you sure? I say, you the crazy. Did you not see that video? How about this document? I mean, I don't know if I should believe. So internet is a place where you can, you know, you can be intentionally foolish or stupid. It's your choice. Or smart. I choose to be very smart with the available information. So I'm not going to pretend like the facts before me, right? Because they don't match, or they do not match what I probably, so they don't match my biases. So therefore, well, maybe it's not true, Jerry. So yeah, you have a choice. And these guys, if not because of the foolishness of Nigerians, which is deliberate, intentional as well. Forget about poverty, this, poverty, that. You need to listen and look at the typical Nigerians, and then you will see why these criminals are so lucky to have come from that contraption. They're so lucky because people choose to be, you know, intentionally foolish and stupid. You know? Oh, there is also a part where Oshiomole was also pleading on behalf of Natasha. No, it wasn't pleading. It said something like, if Natasha can come and apologize. They are not even looking into a petition or whatever it is. They are not. And they don't have any intention of looking into it. To them, how dare you? How dare you say this about Akpabiole? You'll be punished. That's it. But if you can come and apologize, maybe we can reconsider. I think. Listen to him.
On the floor of the Senate. I went on China television, in my opinion, to defend the Senate. When we were being accused of spending money here and there, I said, no, I bought my own furniture, etc. A distinguished senator said I had breached his privileges. On that occasion, some people spoke in my favor. But there were few who insisted that what I said was in bad taste. I asked myself there and then, who will cast the first stone that he has never lied? Sorry, he has never erred, if I have actually erred. But on this occasion, my intention was to defend the institution. And yet, some members felt offended. I have been a governor for 8 years. I was re-elected. I didn't do a receipt. I chairman the governing party for 2 years. I was removed. I didn't go to court. So once I noticed that there were some senators who felt that my comment was embarrassing to them, for me, it is a mark of strength to admit that not being my intention, that I apologize to those who felt offended by my comment, even as my intention was very noble and clear as far as I was concerned. I think that to apologize is not to belittle yourself. And even the Holy Bible says, and this is where I want to appeal to those who have taken very strong stand, that any sin we commit, once we admit to the fact of our failing, of committing, of breaching any of the 10 commandments of God, that if we apologize to God and confess that we will not do so again, we can still see the kingdom of God. I think it is based on this logic that the committee created a window. And I also know that on the previous occasion, that sort of window, even though not stated, was exploited for a former chief whip. So I don't want to go into the merits because there is nothing new to be said. I just want to appeal to distinguished Senator Mrs. Udwanga that everyone that has spoken cannot possibly be coward or foolish. Truth of the matter is the rules are binding. They are on the floor of the Senate.
That's Oshiomole. Meanwhile, before the whole thing was wrapped up, even Akpabiole also had this to say, talking about his closeness to Natasha and her husband, even during their wedding. He's coming back. It's like he's regaining back his composure now from yesterday.
I only have my wife, my children to contend with. Because even the senator we are discussing is the wife of my very close friend and brother. So I thought. On the day of our marriage, I slept in Kogi, in her house. The next day, I ran to Ubajana Airport. I missed my flight because the plane could not land since there are no light. So I ended up sleeping at Dangote cement factory with 9 people. So I spent 3 days. Please give me a chance to say something. Even when Senator Webwe attempted to say that he was present in the same car, the social media said he was lying. But you see, we have been taken to the floor. We have been dragged to the floor. I have a responsibility. If you look at the rules of the Senate, I don't only interpret the rule, but the rule, which is an extension of the Nigerian Constitution, gives me the power under Section 20, subsection I and H, no, H and I, that the Senate President shall be responsible for the observance of the rules of debates. He shall give rulings on points of order or of constitution raised during debates. Above all, he is the only person to interpret the rules, these rules that have been made. That's why I'm sitting here. I'm in the best position to interpret the rules of the Senate because I have the constitutional power enshrined in this. I only have my wife, my children to contend with. Because even the senator we are discussing is the wife of my very close friend and brother. So I thought. On the day of our marriage, I slept in Kogi, in her house.
Thank you very much, brethren. So there's one more thing I want to share on the matter. In fact, I still have like maybe 2 or 3 things to share on the matter, but we are rounding up on that, okay? So it's always good for us to be thorough. I mean, like, for the sake of those who are going to sit down, watch this whole drama. I mean, have them all together in one clip. That is what Mayegun's Diary Politico would do for you and for us, rather. Their supporters were out and fighting themselves yesterday, by the way, because Akpabiole hired his own supporters to protesters, right? Who were like the counter-protesters to protest against Natasha, as Natasha also brought her own protesters to protest against Akpabiole. And when some of them were interviewed, that will give you all the answers you need to probably know about the state of mind of an average Nigerian. And one more reason why you can be rest assured that that country has no any real future. This is the way they are. So don't ever think that those people you see in the cities and like dress well, speaks well, and all of that stuff, looks intelligent, and that's exactly how Nigerians are. No, they are worse. And the reason why the likes of Akpabiole and co, they will always have a base, they will always have these enablers, is because of these ones. But let me share this with you.
She's not a woman that we don't know that we can trust. For her to carry her husband to the national, I know it's a private issue, but a decent woman cannot do that. So Nigeria start with Akpabiole. Nigeria start with the Senate President. Nigeria start with Ahmed. Yes. So this is our message. Let peace reign. And at the same time, and at the same time, Natasha must face a probe. National Assembly have a rule. National Assembly is an institution. It's not a market square. She should support herself for a probe, not to the court. Court have our own jurisdiction. We have 3 organs of government. We have the executive, we have the legislature, and we have the judiciary. So the legislature have their own organ. So Natasha, whatever anything that court has designed is not avoid. Nigeria don't be so.
Look at what we are doing for you. Look at what we are going to for you. Don't disappoint us.
I am supporting Akpabiole because he's a Senate president. Number 2 is somebody's husband. He shouldn't be, he's not looking at Natasha. Natasha is just a senator. He doesn't have time with Natasha. Natasha should free Akpabiole. Akpabiole is somebody's father. He's a grandfather. He's somebody's husband. He's somebody's son. Natasha should face her husband and leave Akpabiole alone. A man is free to look at a woman. That is the end. He should stop blackmailing Akpabiole. Akpabiole is Akpabiole. He should stop it.
You don't want them to investigate?
Investigate what? Did you miss Akpabiole with Natasha in the bed? Did you mean Akpabiole talking to Natasha by the roadside? Did you mean Akpabiole talking to Natasha that I love you?
Akpabiole has a victim
against the oppressor
to disrespect
of the greatest Nigerian women.
Women are the ones that voted this man and it's becoming unbecoming of him, insulting and maligning her character. The first time he asked her whether she's working in the nightclub. Is he in the nightclub? So he cannot continue. It's simple. Akpabiole has to go. He should do the honorable thing by yes, let him go. He should resign. We don't want him in the house. He has to go.
We are here to fight for Natasha. He cannot go. He is supposed to go.
Yes, I'm done. He has to go. He's going.
We are here. We are not here to fight. My name is Abubakar Kawaku. We are not here to fight. We are here to fight for Natasha. Akpabiole have to leave. And we are here to fight women's justice. So please, we are, all of us, we are women. So I want to let everybody follow Natasha so that we will fight for our rights.
Good afternoon, ma. My name is Ireti Mohammed. We are here on behalf of women support women. We are here to stop Mr. Akpabiole to stop harassing Natasha on behalf of the women. All the women, National Women's Day is just around the corner, and now he's harassing Natasha. We are saying that Akpabiole must go. He should allow Natasha to rule us. She's a role model of the nation. He should allow us. We are here to protect the interests of the women. No woman, no nation.
She's not a woman that...
Anyway, did you see all of that, right? So the pro and the against, you know, the for and the against anyway. So Natasha herself, how did she take it? Because that's important too. How did she take this kangaroo suspension? Because number one, she can't actually be suspended. She can't. Another senator cannot suspend another. A senator cannot suspend another senator. There's a court case in that regard. They still do it though, right? Because it's a lawless place. You know, 9 years ago, rats, Remi Ahmed Tifnumbu, Remi Werekwe, was in that same Senate floor fighting with Keneri Dino. So Keneri Dino said, I would rape you. I will beat you. Then I will also impregnate you, something like that. In the floor. That was 9 years ago. And it was the Remiwerepe. There was transgressing, right? Disrespecting the then Senate President, Bukola Saraki. I have a clip towards that. Let me show you.
Because of certain things which I explained and we discussed. So, you can ask him that question now. But, distinguished colleagues, order. Order. Why I'm taking order. Order, distinguished Senator Tinubu. Somebody's on the floor. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, why I'm taking us through this thing is because the nation is watching us.
So she was supposed to be suspended, I think. She granted this press conference, right, where she said,
"Stop us, but you don't come to on the other side and start dictating to us. Do you want us to protect you?" Or
meanwhile, Natasha, how did she take it? Well, she probably will be going to court. So she said, this injustice cannot be sustained, something like that.
This injustice will not be sustained. The pursuit for justice.
So they turned off her mic, so she couldn't really say much. So it was like, just go, please go. You know what? Let's leave Akpabiole, Natasha, because that's not the end of it. Oh, I hope you know that. That is not going to be the end of it. In the coming days and weeks, we are going to indeed hear more. And for those of you who probably don't even know Natasha very well, maybe this is your opportunity of knowing her. She doesn't actually really give up easily. You know? Yeye Bello, if you know Kogi White, you know, oh, they call him White Lion, Abi. No, I don't like calling the Yeye Bello. I don't call him a White Lion. No. It's like, you know, like a white a gamma lizard. Not even like a gamma lizard. It's like those lizard were like, you know, because I remember a white lion that was supposed to actually face the EFCC had to run on the ground for months because he didn't want to go to jail for looting 110 billion naira from the people of Kogi. So in that their 2023 charade, Yeye Bello brought in 2 excavators, and then he dug this deep gully in the middle of the road to Akpoti's constituency, in order to stop her from becoming a senator. So she was rigged out. So she went to court. It was the court that returned her. That's why she didn't join them when others joined the Senate on the 2nd of June 2023. So she had to join them later. So if Akpabiole and others have no idea who Natasha is, maybe they're just about to find out as well. So it is not over. I'm just saying that, put that on record, okay? In Lagos State today, something happened. It's not new. It's just that I do not really expect that to come from the shithole called the Mega Shitty in Lagos, but it did happen. What happened? The personnel of the Nigerian AirForce, you know, a part of the Nigerian military, invaded the headquarters of the Ikeja Electric. They call it Ikeja Electric, means it's like the the head office of the company that is providing electricity for some part of Lagos, maybe Ikeja. What happened? We saw the staff started running and they started jumping fence. Kilo did now, why? Now Boko Haram, they said, no, Boko Haram. They are AirForce men coming to beat whoever they see on site, not to shoot them, but beat them. And Nikilo did what happened. Well, they said the Ikeja Electric disconnected the source of power or power supply to this base, AirForce base in Ikeja, because they are homing. Others said, no, they've paid. That they paid their outstanding debts. But Ikeja Electric still failed to come and reconnect them. So, okay. So now they chose today to go and bring the staff to come and restore the electricity or what? No, they didn't go there to bring them to come and restore their electricity. It was to beat them, but some escaped. But the unlucky ones are the 10 staff, 10 workers of the company. They probably couldn't run, or it was too late for them to run. They beat them until they ended up in the hospital. Their CEO, supposed the overall, when they found her, they brought her out. They asked her to give them their, car key. She gave it to them. They opened the trunk of the car key and they pushed her inside and they locked her inside. Now went into the building, smashed everything that could be smashed, anything and everyone on site. Let me show you. I have the compilation of that, by the way. All right. Ikeja, Lagos, this money.
They don't pack people inside. They pack people inside, then they break everything. Anything breakable inside. So they block our gates. They arrest all of our staff, break everything inside. So people should. This is what we see this morning in Allow Service queue. No movement to see army motor.
Small video. Am I getting them?
Lock that gate! Lock the gate!
Open it for them.
Direction of this CCTV camera so that it will not cover them. This is our switch room. Look at all the cables, they pull them out. We don't know what they are trying to do, maybe to copy data from the switch. That's the switch room. They pull out the cables in the switch room. Maybe they are trying to have access to our record. That's our switch room.
Yes, cameras on the stairways were removed. Then we have a fixed station, network attachment, linked to this is where it's mounted.
Madam, who are you coming for?
We have an LVR and other DVRs. We have four DVRs, one LVR. So we are left with just two DVRs. So meaning that we have one DVR and two DVRs missing with the disk station.
So they have access to
yes.
All, so we can't trace their movement.
I'm trying to power the ones that are left behind to see if we can
So basically they try to conceal evidence of their actions.
Yes, this is the control room phone.
Okay, sorry. They took the phone away?
No, the phone was damaged.
Okay.
And the SIM card was removed.
This is the control room phone, damaged, and SIM card was removed. So you can take the picture.
Anarchy loans. Anarchy loans. Anarchy loans.
A very much lawless contraption. So you can ask yourself, what kind of training do they give to their military in that contraption? Your guess is as good as mine. You know, I was in Ikeja. Away from, we are going to come back to Lagos. So away from Lagos, let's go to the east. Yesterday, I shared with us the tragedy of the people living in Ehamuhu or Ehamuhu in Enugu State. Now, I have discovered, so I've just found out that it wasn't just a one-off protest. It's going to be a continuous protest until the government will do something. So today, women, in their largest number from that community and other neighboring communities who have come under the terrorism of the Fulanis in the eastern part of Nigeria, they came out en masse, blocked the roads and said, well, something has to be done. Because these are poor women, mostly farmers, living in the border towns, right? who have come across, who have been living under the terror of these Fulani terrorists that are raping them, kidnapping them for ransom, and even killing them. So consider this as a day 3, because it all started 2 days ago. 2 days ago, yesterday, and now they were all out again today to say something has to be done. I don't think anything will be done. From Enugu.
No movements, no transaction, no bike, nobody should go anywhere. Rescue Enugu land. Rescue Enugu land. They are chatting and going where we go. Most of them are millionaires in their homes, in settlements, but they have been chased away. They have chased away. They left their homes. Their house have been burnt. They left their home. Their husbands have been quiet. Their sons have been quiet. So many groups are coming. The other groups are in front. Another group are trooping in from. I've seen them. Another groups are coming in. People are still coming in. God help us. God help Enugu land. Rescue Enugu land. Reporting live from Enugu Digenomas TV. Live and direct. Another massive group are coming in. God help Enugu land.
Aye geru, ejale rice, galila jiro rice, madu kutereko, madu rulomo he, yabu nile, bata katabisiye. Afoda, aye libeti love, afoye, edushe, aye gudefo, shanyo mekeka, aye jabe gude, lehe gamwe walo, lehe go wale go. Why not do? Ejali amufe go, makagono. Tena hona go worai, unu ba ashige chufuri aye.
Because Umana, I will go to the and I'm never back. I can never have been peaceful. Anything, and I can't even ever since. What never can be almost a normal telephone. I want you here to address you. Because Security, Yamasari Chakobodo, Enyato, Opato, Eko Megunu, Ato, Yanibaro, Abrigosi, Onya Budiko, Mobonya Bolu Membo, he had the Ababa million Kobe Megunu, Mulubiaro, I Kawaru, Sinu, Unukan Godidro,
So issues of women in their numbers, they are out. This is solidarity protest because they are dispelling that fake protest orchestrated by some criminals, few agitators, enemies of the state, enemies of government. So they are here to dispel that protest led by a very few that to dissociate themselves.
I mean, let me show you what it is like, okay? How helpless and powerless people can be when these Fulani terrorists and their cows begins to actually graze on people's farms. Let me show you what it can be like this. I mean, you can sit down there and be like, oh, they should have fought them instead of you to fight them. It's not that easy, man. All right. There are people who have attempted to fight them that way and they've lost their lives. And yeah, that is where the ESN comes in, you know. Those are the people equipped to actually face these Fulani terrorists because their intention is very pure. They also are very much aware of what the Fulani terrorists truly represents. And they do not play fool, right? They do not fall fool gladly. How did they put that one? That's from the Enugu state. So let's go to River State. So from River State, right? Oh, I thought I actually had the letter, but I'm going to bring that on, okay? Remember that 72 hours plus 24 hours, that's 96 hours. I mean, 96 hours ago, the Martin Mawule's, what do you call it? House of Assembly that got restored by the Supreme Court's ruling. They have been issuing threats after threats. First, a threat that if Fubara failed to come and present the 2025 budget to them, they will do something. They didn't say what, but they will do something. They sent a letter as well to invite the RCEC chairman in River State. They gave him 48 hours. That one replied and said, I don't know what is wrong with you guys, but there's nothing called giving people 48 hours. Like, what are you talking about? If you want to invite me, you have to give me like 7 days minimum. Which one is all this 48 hours ultimatum every now and then? They now told him that if you fail to show up, we are going to issue an arrest warrant on you and you'll be arrested and brought before us. And the whole thing is so kind of like messed up right now, okay? That one said, no, I'm not showing up. I'm not coming. So you can do your worst, you know? While Fubara and this RCEC guy have already chosen another date for the new local government elections. You know? But Supreme Court said in the ruling of the Supreme Court, they said that it was a Fubara that declared the seat of these lawmakers vacant. That's not true. I mean, at least there is evidence that says their seats were declared vacant by their remaining colleagues that did not decamp at the time. So did Wiki and his gang mislead the Supreme Court, or it was just a script written? Because this whole thing seems like they are just a mean. They are means to an end. They are not an end in itself. So let's first go back to this. The day the seats of the 27 House of Assembly members were declared vacant, how did they go? Like this.
Queen Tony Williams, our is of 21. 2. Honorable John Dominic Denmark, who are over state conference. Honorable Major Jack, Akpoti from 21. Honorable Lulu Azayo Kwende, Akpoti from 32. Honorable Office Kaban, Anthony State Congress. Honorable Tekena Wellington Grammy, Asaritor from 31. Honorable Emily Alabojo, Asaritor from 32. Honorable Peter Abbey, Degima State Congress. Honorable Ikeja Electric State Congress. Honorable Ireti, Enugu State Congress. Honorable Ignatius Onka, Eche, 31. Honorable Chimete Wanko, Eche, 22. Honorable Dule Mao, Bukana State Congress. Honorable President T.H. Ikwere State Congress. Honorable Barine Wako, Canada, 31. Honorable Martin Chike Alelu, Obiako, 31. Honorable Emilia Lokamadi, Obiako, 32. Honorable Lieutenant Franklin Labochi, Oba Emima 31. Honorable Ikeja Electric, Oba Emima 32. Honorable David Arnold, Ogolo State Congress. Honorable Silvano Franco, Ohoma State Congress. Honorable Ikeja Electric State Congress. Honorable Solomon Wami, Port Harcourt, Congress 1. Honorable Mbabena, Harry Damu, Tai, State Congress. Honorable Alelu, distinguished colleagues, they have the ruling of the Independent National Electoral Commission of the vacancies in the Rivers Assembly, and he to conduct fresh elections to fill the above vacancies within the time frame provided by law. The House of now currently left with 6 legislative and constitutionally recognized members, and in line with the decision of the National Constitution, precisely section 102, the House will effectively continue to discharge its responsibility of legislation, representation, and oversight, notwithstanding vacancies in the membership of the House.
So can we say the Supreme Court is just reading out a script, or it was misled to believe that it was a Fubara that declared this guy's seat vacant? Because their ruling says Fubara has no such power. It even said even no court has power to declare the seats of lawmakers vacant except their fellow colleagues. And there is evidence that it was their colleagues, a day after they claimed to have defected, that declared their seat vacant, and they have been calling on the INEC to conduct a fresh election into those constituent seats for INEC controlled by APC, which is currently, which has currently adopted with Wiki, as one homeless politician that needs a place, to hibernate for a while. So the reply of the supposed RCEC chairman, Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission chairman, to the invitation of the House of Assembly, these guys, 48 hours, it was like, according to the principles of a fair hearing enshrined in both the section 36 of the Constitution of the Federal Fulani Republic of Nigeria, 1999, and the case law of El-Rufai versus House of Rep, National Assembly 2003, at least 7-day notice would suffice, and to honor an invitation from any legislature according to the Legislative Houses Powers and Privilege Act 2018. He said, we use this opportunity to remind you that we are in a democracy and not a dictatorship, wherein ultimatums are issued without regard to the relevant laws, such as the Legislative Houses Powers and Privileges Act 2018. We respectfully suggest that both yourself and other legislators of the Rivers State House of Assembly undergo a reorientation training workshop, wherein you will be reacquainted with the scope and ambit of your powers as a legislature, as prescribed by the Nigerian Constitution. Our organization offers to deliver any such training workshop at no cost to the Rivers State House of Assembly that, is based. So, now call it that side though. I had to darken his face so that I can probably look like a monster that he is anyway. So that's called, now so the tongue of a drug, the drug users or the drug addict they be, because I've been observing that tongue by the way. I don't want to distract you, Sha. So that was called. So the Joy Youth Council, withholding the Rivers State allocation as ordered by this Supreme Court, is actually a recipe for disaster. It is a recipe for breakdown of law and order. If they should actually really, implement that judgment, wala mashele, according to the president of the Ijo Youth Council.
Well, what I'll be sharing with you today is more of a personal opinion. The reason is the Ijo Youth Council, I have summoned a meeting where we will be having an emergency session where all structures of council will listen to review this Supreme Court judgment and its implications on the lives of people of Rivers State and then that of the governor. But my personal opinion, the implications of this Supreme Court judgment, it has two consequences for the people of Rivers State. First, the governor, who, in obedience to the rule of law, has largely complied with the directives as ordered by the Supreme Court on the area of local government elections, directing that they hand over the reign of power to the heads of local governments, as well as allowing the 27 members of the assembly to be allowed to do their legislative job. But here is the implication it has on the lives of the people of Rivers State. Rivers people are not involved in this political conflict. Hear me clearly. The vast majority of people of Rivers State have not contributed anything to this festering crisis that is almost taking their peace and life away from them. Now, by the directive of the Supreme Court, there will be no economic activities in Rivers State. And of course, you can almost understand the implications of that. Also, now, by the directive that the governor does not have power to even expend any resources on Rivers people, the vulnerable people who are either civil servants, who are dependent on daily economic activities that has to do business with the government of the state, have automatically come to a halt. for a place such as River State, the Niger Delta, especially in a moment where peace is becoming something we all now gradually are celebrating, and then a pronouncement of the Supreme Court is setting all of us back to an era where anxiety takes over the entire space. I don't think is best for the people of River State and our region. This is not a threat. There are those who have said that the IYC have issued a threat to the ongoing political crisis in River State. We don't want war. And that is the honest truth. For a job people who have contributed immensely to peace in the Niger Delta, with the ongoing activities, especially within the oil and gas industry, to boost production, of course, because we're not evil people, we would not wish to set our records back by creating chaos in our region. But the implications of certain decisions can actually create an almost impulsive reaction of people. Now, if these actions continue where Rivers people can no longer be paid salary, no economic activities can continue in River State, you can almost understand the reactions of people someday. And that has a negative consequences and impact on the peace that we are enjoying in River State. I'm glad that the governor has largely complied with the Supreme Court judgment, as difficult as it may be. But for now, because we haven't taken a statement, a study of these whole stuff, including the Supreme Court judgment in details, I do not want to say a position of a job people yet, because we are yet to make that formal. And when that becomes necessary, we will do so. But at this moment, I do not believe that we have come to the road of peaceful resolution of the issues that have defined River State within the last couple of 1 year. I also do not agree with the fact that only 3 people in a house of about 30 or 32 persons are now making laws for the entire state. That means we are even shortchanging some of the job people who are representing other constituencies in the state. But the Supreme Court, in its judgment, I felt that I've considered to correct that stuff. But that, I do not think that totally solves the entire problem. I do think that the president cannot look away when Rome is like burning. River State is at the verge of collapse, and it is a wrong way to push River State into this press.
I know. Some of them have already picked up their guns, made video, to tell everybody that if you impeach Fubara, we go burn down these states. Who are these guys?
Statement by the Niger Delta Rescue Movement. We, the Niger Delta Rescue Movement, wish to express our deep concern regarding the recent development in River State that threaten the smooth governance of our beloved state under the leadership of Governor Sir Siminala Ifubara. It has come to our attention that certain individuals, self-proclaimed as lawmakers, have issued an unfounded 48 hours ultimatum to the governor to present 2025 state budget. This blatant attempt to destabilize the state is not only alarming but also a clear indication of a coordinated effort to incite chaos, potentially leading to call for a state of emergency and even impeachment. We call on President Bola Tinubu to intervene immediately and put a stop to the action of the FCT Minister, Yeso Wike, and his associate, who seem intent on dragging River State into an avoidable crisis. The people of River State desire stability, progress, and a conducive environment for governance. Furthermore, we must make it abundantly clear that the youth of River State, we will not sit idly while our state is drawn into tumult. If the federal allocation due to River State are not released promptly, we will have no choice but to take it decisively action. Make it include heating oil production. We can't generate money to the federation account and not have our own share. Our workers deserve their salary. Our government needs the necessary resources to carry out essential development projects. We urge all non-indigenous in River State to consider their safety and leave the state promptly. As the situation may escalate, we cherish the safety of all residents and hope for a peaceful resolution to this crisis. Enough is enough. We stand united for the right and future of River State. We demand respect for our leaders and a focus on the development of our region. In solidarity, Niger Delta Rescue Movement.
Anarchy loans. Anarchy loans. Anarchy.
Fellow Nigerians, this is just the beginning. Fellow Nigerians, this is just the beginning.
This is just the beginning. Because another group has come out again. Another group have come out, they said they are the sacked local government chairmen of River State. These ones are not, they were sacked. They were actually sacked by Wike about 9 or 10 years ago. That's a long time. Now, in this whole crisis, they have also issued their own press statement by saying they are the authentic local government chairman of River State, so they are coming to resume the office.
It is in the light of the consideration of the above that we express our gratitude first to the God Almighty for His grace and enablement, and to the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, for his pragmatic, visionary, and leadership style, and for his passionate disposition in the running of the judiciary, which
we don't need any other swearing in because we've been sworn in and the court has restored his plenitude all that has to do with the chairmanship. Thank you.
Tentatively, in obedience to the judgment of appeal, of taking steps. This is a procedure, all right? We'll wait for a while, so we have to go and prepare a foundation. I'm sure if you look around the state, you see us making some movements, all right? And whatever thing we found on the field, we're reporting back to base. We don't want to throw the state to the Ocean situation. I'm sure you don't want that to see that, right? We don't want to throw ourselves to what you have in Ocean State. And we'll come from a party that is disciplined and will follow another. We have the speech commenting to the president, but he had laid the foundation for where we are. We're not going to have this mandate and throw it away. And nobody will steal from us. We fought for 10 years. Look at our lives. Look at us here. And 9 or 10 years from my age. Then look at our colleagues who have passed on eternity. It will be a betrayal of the grand struggle for us to back off at this stage.
"10 years ago," said some of them have died. But for those who are still alive, they thank Almighty God for sparing their life, and they thank Tifnumbu. They also thank the Supreme Court. You understand, you are not even party to the case that they took to Supreme Court. So how you won't do it? I don't say wahala, you know, it's all brewing, I have to say. And then finally, ladies and gentlemen, you know, 5 people so far have been confirmed dead, you know, in a collapsed building at Oriwu Estate. Is that called Oriwu Estate? Yeah, they said near Elf bus stop on Lekki Epe Expressway, Lagos. A building collapsed there yesterday, and the rescue mission has been working since then. They've rescued some of the people trapped in. That's when they found that the dead body, 5 of them. Look at the scene.
I'm highly disappointed of Nigerian government because the Nigerian government were highly disappointed in them due to foreseen circumstances. Definitely, I'm one of those people approving. People should die in coronavirus is more better than people should die in longers.
Ìgbà kan máa dé àsìkò kọ́ṣe ń bọ̀ wá ìgbà kan máa dé àsìkò kọ́ṣe ń bọ̀ wá tólóró máa sáré ọlọ́pàá máa sáré ayé máa sáré ẹyẹ tí ò dúró rere máa sáré àlórà máa sáré hs tí kò mọ kankan máa sáré everybody máa sáré gbogbo wa pátá máa sáré ìgbà yẹn ti dé àsìkò yẹn náà làwà. Ìgbà yẹn ti dé àsìkò yẹn náà làwà everybody máa sáré ọlọ́pàá máa sáré àwọn tó ń ṣòro gan máa sáré olúmọlẹ̀ máa sáré àpènà máa sáré olúwo ìlú gan máa sáré everybody pátápátá máa sáré gbogbo wa máa sáré àwọn ọmọ fantasy base máa sáré àwọn ọmọ túmọ̀rọ̀ base máa sáré akíndóyin base máa sáré ayépéjọsọ base máa sáré everybody pátá máa sáré.
So something just happened there. Somehow I have lost the connection to the, to the volume of this. So what I'm doing right now is to see if I possibly can. Give me a sec. I'm trying to see if I can. I'm going to have to wrap up, okay? If I can restart my system, but I think I'm done anyway. It's just that we won't be taking calls because of whatever this is. Can you even hear me? Let's check it. I'm so sorry, right? So technology can be so crazy. You know that, yeah? And whenever technology is acting up, yeah, what you do next is just to try and improvise. So me improvising right now and then wrapping it up for tonight. Kindly bear with me, okay? So I have done the most of the presentation anyway. I was going to take just maybe one or two calls. But unfortunately, I don't think we'll be able to do that right now. We're just going to, sort of say farewell to ourselves while I possibly try to fix whatever is the mess. Okay. So thank you so much, everyone, for your time with me. Again, as always. All right. Thank you so much. Now, remember, if you joined us midway into this broadcast, you can, obviously, you can rewind this and watch it from the start again, okay? And if you have been with me all evening, all you have to do again, just before you go as well, is to like the broadcast, share it, subscribe to my channel, and then meet me here again, same time tomorrow. So thank you so much, everyone, for your time. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I shall see you again. So, good night.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Mayegun dayari politico. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Mayebi number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní àní ẹ̀sùn ràjò.
Máyégún ti dé.
Wọ́n bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjò.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bíjó ìgbádìyẹ.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjò.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjò.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjò.
Máyégún ti dé.
Ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjò.
Máyégún ti dé.
Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjò.
Máyégún ti dé.
Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjò.
Máyégún ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o, Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀, Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ̀. Oníkanṣá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o. Àyè.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Ha! Kì máa yí ṣeré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣeré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o, ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀bọ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́, ó ti jọba lórí abínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ fòyà. Àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o, ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.